About 40 years.
You were on the streets for 40 years?
Yeah, 40. But I started in Santa Ana and ended up in L.A.
Skid Row. How'd you end up at Skid Row?
My brother, me being with my brother, and he wanted to have sex, and I didn't want it.
How old were you?
I was already in my 30s, maybe.
You were in your 30s?
Mm-hmm.
How old are you now?
I'm 71.
Wow. So in your 30s, your brother wanted to...
Yeah. Well, my oldest brother raped me, and that continued.
When you were a kid?
When I was about 12, 13 years old.
So it's kind of in the family.
Yeah. I went through a lot. Growing up, I tried to kill myself, but I couldn't do it because I love my mother too much. But to get through the hard times and the abuse, it took a lot. I just thank God that I'm here today. Being on Skid Row was a no piece of cake. Not knowing what was out there, not knowing what people had on their mind or what they're planning to do with you. It's rape, all kinds of stuff. And that's when I turned to drugs. Just to keep my mind going in another place, to keep all the bad and everything away. But when I was off the drug, it was still there.
What was your drug?
Cocaine.
Crack?
Crack.
Yeah. Was your father in your life when you were a kid?
No, he was part of the abuse too.
Oh, really?
I thought my father was supposed to be there to protect me. Instead, he took advantage of me. Just like my brother. My mom was in the hospital for tuberculosis for 9 months. We had her away from us, and that's when the abuse with my brother started with me.
So it was almost like you had it in your childhood, you had it from
I'll
siblings, your parents.
Yeah, and then when I got married, my husband did the same thing. So that's why I guess when I was out in the streets, the prostitution just automatically.
Yeah. You need
money. I don't like the life I lived, but it's something that I went through as a kid and something that I continue doing as an adult. If I can go back and start all over, none of this would have happened.
What would you have done differently?
I would have found help from somebody and go from there.
But back then, there probably wasn't as much help as there is now.
No. And then back then, you couldn't open up and say things like this. You know, it not only happened to me, it happened to my sister too, that I found out after she passed away. Yeah, being out here ain't fun. That's when I started doing drugs and selling my body. I didn't care no more. I didn't trust no men. I thought they were all the same. And finally, I met somebody, and I've been with him for about 8 years. And the only thing we have to do with any sex is we kiss. No sex at all from the 8 years we've been together. And I trusted him. He took me for the person that I am, not for a piece of meat that he can get and take advantage of. No, he was different from all the rest of them. But I thought all the men that walked into my life was going to do the same thing that I went through when I was young.
How do you think your 4 decades on Skid Row have changed you?
I seen a lot. I grew up a lot faster. I was aware of a lot of things. It was hard, but it made my life easy to where the things that I went through weren't as bad as the things that I went through out in the street weren't as bad as the ones that I went through when I was young. So I was able to cope with the the violence, the drugs, the prostitution, it just brightened it opened me up a lot, you know. And then that's when I started taking girls that ran away from different places underneath my wings. And there's one that she was a heroin addict. Hoob knows her. I took her underneath my wings, and she has her mother. Her mom passed away. She looked at me as her mom, and so she was a big part of my life. I don't have no kids. I took a lot of women, a lot of girls underneath my wings and took care of them, and not let them go through the things that I went through on the streets, hoping that them being out there, they don't have to go into prostitution and that. Well, a couple of them did. I couldn't do nothing to take care of their heroin addiction. But yeah, I came from a family from 16 sisters and 5 brothers. And it's me and my sister are the only 2 living out of 21 kids.
You're kidding.
Mm-hmm.
How did everyone else pass away? I mean, it's some of it's old age.
Cancer, natural death. And I'm the 4th to the youngest.
But not too many with drugs. Not too many involved in drugs.
Would you believe it? All of them.
All of them.
All of them except for 2.
Oh wow.
All of them but except for 2. I just lost my baby sister in Albuquerque. I hit and run. And I didn't know she was dead, and I was looking for her for a whole year, and they had her in the morgue.
Sorry.
I don't wish nobody to come from wherever they're living at to come out here to LA. What's so good about LA that are homeless to go through the stuff that I went through? Or who knows what they're going through? I don't know. But who's been in my life? He knows. He was a little. He was a. How can you say it? Intimidate. He used to intimidate me and my daughter a lot.
He intimidates everybody.
But I ain't scared of him no more. Back then I was. I beat the hell out of him. I ain't scared of him no more.
He's my right hand down here.
He's good people now.
I think I trained him.
Hey, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
He's honest.
Before, if you would have known him before, you would have looked at him and say, man, what a bully. You know, somebody needs to beat the shit out of him.
I picked the right guy.
He's good people. I love him.
What are you afraid of? What do you worry about?
God, I ain't scared about nobody. Not no more. You be out in the streets, you know. I've been with gangbangers. I've been with the Blood. I have an old man. I've been with Grape Street, if you ever heard of him. I've been with Grape. Crips.
You've been all different sides.
Yep.
They're all down here.
Yep. And this is where I met them.
Well, Skid Row is like a mix. Like everyone blends here.
Yep.
You know, whereas in other neighborhoods they're all separate. Like you can't mix up.
You can't mix it up.
Here it's a
right
mix.
Here you can. Yeah.
Yeah, Skid Row is pretty unique. How has it changed over the 40 years?
Oh man, it changed a lot. The streets used to be real bad. Now it's empty. Down from 7th to 6th Street on San Pedro, I mean, there was people, tents, people just all day long, 24/7, up. And the drugs, you know, we were all up, going back and forth, doing our thing. Now it's cleaned up. It's not like it used to be. Skid Row used to be tents on both sides, garbage all on the streets and stuff.
Yeah.
They cleaned it up.
A lot of people have housing now.
Yep. Even when they get in housing, they're so used to being out in the street, they end up back out. Like me, right now, I'm in the place, and I'm blessed.
You finally got housing.
I finally got housing. God bless me.
How many years were you on the streets?
I was out on the street for 40 years.
Really? In a tent?
In the tent, off and on. I'd sleep on the sidewalk without a tent.
It's rough.
Yeah. You know, we had cold nights and rainy nights, but the midnight helped us a lot too, because we stayed on the courtyard. In the rain, we stayed inside a place they call Safe Sleep.
What's some of the craziest stuff you've seen on Skid Row?
Oh,
You've seen people get murdered. I know that.
I seen people get killed. I seen a lot of my friends die, found them dead in their tent. I seen a young girl getting beat, handcuffed, and had made her eat her own shit. I've seen. I've been myself. I was taken off the streets in this truck, and I told the guy what I thought he wanted a date. He was so damn fucked up on crack that he took me for a ride, and I thought I was never gonna come back. I swear, I thought my life was over. The people out there, it's hard to trust anybody. You have to blend yourself in, then you have to get to live the way they are. You have to know the way they run. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. Not easy.
Especially for a woman.
Yeah, a woman's bad because they see a piece of meat, they take you and they start working you on the streets and stuff. Now here you have a sugar daddy. Then you have a pimp.
And the drugs have changed too.
The drugs, yeah, now they've got the fentanyl. You don't know what's in the crystal meth.
Or the crack.
Or the crack. If you know the right people. Because I used to, back in the days, I used to make crystal. The drug is nothing like back then.
Yeah, I heard.
Now, you can't trust to take anything. That's when you should come out clean. But people keep on taking it.
Are you still smoking crack?
I'm going to be honest, once in a while.
Yeah.
Once in a while. Not like I used to. Because I'm not out in the street.
What was the most out of control your life ever got?
Oh, when I was out there in prostitution. I've seen a lot of days and a lot of nights that I thought I was going to come back. The people you meet, it's not what you see on the outside. You don't know what's on the inside. They can be somebody real nice, and you look at them, you can trust them, but they're evil as hell in the inside. You made a mistake. I've seen a lot of women go through that shit.
What's your biggest regret?
Prostitution.
Yeah.
Anything else I can handle. It's a prostitution. To see for my family to look back and see what I put myself through. But it is what it is.
What does prostitution do to a woman?
What does a prostitution do to a woman? Well, what it did to me, it made me go. No, I went out there and did what I did to make money for my drugs and to survive on. But I find myself doing it and doing it and doing it. I regret putting myself, because everybody knows me out here. Everybody knows me. And I think the cops know me too. But to put myself out here like I did, and if you would have seen the person that I was before all this happened, you wouldn't even think that I would have put myself through any of this shit. I was born and raised in Redondo Beach. I had a family. I had a husband. I had a home.
What
No,
happened? What happened that you ended up in this situation?
Hmm?
What happened that you ended up here?
Because me and my husband split up. Um, I ended up staying with a friend. Then my brother told me for me to get off the streets. He works at night. I would be by myself I would be by myself at night, and then during the day I'll be out. It didn't work out like that. So I came and lived with him. My goddaughter brought me over, and I came to live with him. I thought things were all right, doing okay. Then it just started getting worse. He started buying me the drugs to make it easy see if I would end up with him. And from there, he put me out of the street. He goes, get your stuff. You can go out there and live with all the rest of them. So I did. Luckily, I ended up bumping into this girl, this black chick, that took me under her wings. And she was younger than me, because she already knew the streets. And told me as long as I'm with her, nothing will happen to me, and I'll get through this. And look I got through this, and she passed away. A lot of my friends that I met out here that helped me are no longer here. So now I got me a place. I'm happy where I'm at. But still, it's hard because I want to be out here, out in the street again. Honestly,
it's addictive, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm in there. I got everything. I moved in. I had TV, furniture. I have everything.
You got a bed?
I got a bed, everything. And I got my 3 dogs. They're small mixed terriers. But I go to psychiatrists, and with all this shit that happened to me growing up and stuff, I'm seeing 2 psychiatrists. And they gave me papers for motion support. My dogs, if they weren't in my life, I don't know what I'd do. But being in the apartment, I'm happy and everything. I got running water, I have bathroom, I got kitchen, I got refrigerator, I can cook every day, things that I couldn't even do out there. And I find myself sitting there wanting to go back out in the streets again. That's crazy. I can't do that. I don't know if it's a phase that we go through or what, but I know a lot of people that got in their place and ended up back out in the street.
Yeah. They get a free apartment, and they still run out to the streets.
No, we pay for our apartment.
Well, you have to pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of people are getting it for next to nothing.
Yeah, they're getting it for $45. I have to pay $321 for mine. Then my boyfriend, he stays with me, and he has to pay $300, so that's $642 we paid. But I'm head of household. First time in my life, I had a receipt underneath my name, rent receipt.
What do you think the problem is with all these people on Skid Row? Why do you think there are so many people that are homeless?
Drugs.
Yeah, but there's something deeper than that. It's kind of.
It has to be things that are going wrong in the house.
Right, but I think when you boil it down to to its essence, I think it's a lot of parents just aren't willing to truly love their kids unconditionally.
I know, that's what it says. It has to do in the house. The parents don't care where their kids are. You know, back in the days, it was different. You know, now with the kids now, they take off. The parents ain't going to go look for them. The only interest that they have is when they pass away.
I mean, the cost of living is so high, so a lot of parents are struggling to just make ends meet. But in school, they're not even they're teaching algebra and trigonometry and all this crazy stuff.
Look at me, I'm
illiterate. They should be teaching people how to love each other. People don't understand.
School, I couldn't read or write, and still can't. A little, very little. So they passed me just to get me through school. But other than that, I grew up with a hard life. My mom did washing and ironing for people. My dad worked as janitor in the Harvard General Hospital in Torrance. I grew up with hand-me-downs. The state sent us little brown boots, like Little House on the Prairie, and 2 dresses and a couple pairs of underwear and a couple pairs of socks every year. So I wasn't brought up with brand new stuff. The only time I ever got brand new stuff is when I got married and my husband, you know.
Annette, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned?
How to love other
your life.
people, how to be nice and kind, and be there in case anyone or anybody needs you. There's a lot of people out there, you can't go to them because they're not nice at all. They're out there for other reasons. Not me. I went through it. I know what I had to do and where I ended up going. And I'm out there in case anybody needs me, to give them my kindness and the love that I got.
That's wonderful.
Because everybody knows me for that. That I love each and every one of the people out there, no matter who you are or what you've done.
It helps to understand
Yep.
what people might have gone through, even if you don't know the details.
Yeah.
Just imagine they probably went through something similar to maybe what you
Yeah,
went
and
through.
they need somebody that cares and is going to sit down and listen to them. And I'm one of them. I got enough problems of my own, but I'll put them aside just to listen to somebody else's.
That's great. All right, Annette. Thank you so
Okay.
much for sharing your story.